Hello everyone, my name is Shurjo. I'm here to share with you on this amazing topic, magnetism, the key to manifestation. What is a magnet? Simply put, it is something that attracts and also repels. Manifestation isn't about just drawing to ourselves those things we want. It is also the ability and the strength to have to be able to hold at bay that which we don't want. Isn't that all life at all? We're desiring things, certain people, certain circumstances, possessions, things, ideas, inspirations, whatever it is. And we're also trying to hold certain things at bay, the negativity, certain, again, kinds of people in our lives that find their way, no matter what we do, into our life circumstances. And that's the power not just of the universe, that's the power of the yogi. That choice where nothing's random, nothing's just happening because it's not that same pattern's repeating in my life over and over again and there's nothing I can do about it. The universe, to understand it more precisely, in fact runs on the principle of magnetism. Everything in the universe is being held together by that magnetic attractive force, or also being repelled, so certain things are being formed in just the right way. In the smallest of ways, if you look at the atoms, you look at the electrons and the protons, what is it? What is holding matter together? There's no physical force, there's no, this atom is bound to this atom and they're tied together somehow. No, the positive pull here, the negative pull here are being attracted and there's space between them. And the bond that binds them is purely magnetic. And the bond that also repels is purely magnetic, so that certain compounds are being formed together, certain compounds aren't. A fun little kind of, you taking this into a practical level, is that when we touch our two fingers together, because we're all made of energy, isn't that the understanding we now have? We're not able to fully live by that understanding, but intellectually, and thanks to Einstein and many other great scientists, we've read about it, we've understood it as an intellectual concept. Everything in this universe, all matter, is just a manifestation of energy. And anytime energy is at play, magnetism is a natural byproduct of that. But coming back to those fingers, imagine if this hand's all energy and this hand's all energy, shouldn't the energies, just allow us, why is it so solid? Why can't both my fingers just pass through each other? Why can't I just walk through a wall, as some yogis are known to have done? It's because the negative charge on the surface of this finger and the negative charge on the surface of the other actually are repelling one another. Isn't that just amazing? So while you and I think that our fingers are touching, if we went really in there and we looked at it through a microscope, it's not truly touching. It's separated by such a tiny little something called an angstrom. And that's what's not allowing our hands to just flow into each other. So on a crazy note, I'm actually levitating, and so are you, on this chair because nothing truly touches. The magnetic force just holds us just this much apart. So that's how the entire universe is truly connected. How it's interacting with everything, because wherever there is energy, there is magnetism. Anytime energy moves, a magnetic field is created naturally around it. Now, how does this apply in our daily lives, especially those of us meditators, those of us seeking higher truths and ideals, wanting to express a life that's not just random, that's not just circumstantial, we're not just an effect to causes perhaps that have been put into motion well before our own conscious mind was aware of it? Where does that magnetism come into our lives? And especially as a meditator, what do I do about this magnetism? And in order to truly understand that, let's understand just what a magnet is. Because if we understand a magnet, if we can see the properties of a magnet, we learn the principles that need to be applied in our daily lives. So you take a magnet, Here it is. This is a magnet. And next to it is just a piece of unmagnetized iron. Now you know that the iron's, going to get attracted to the magnet, but what in essence separates these two things? What makes this guy magnetic, able to draw and repel, and what makes this person just inert, unable really to influence the things around him, but is influenced by other things? And if you look again, we have to look inside. The molecules in the magnet and in this piece of unmagnetized iron, they are the people, they are the little ones responsible for whether or not magnetism is going to manifest. In the magnet, all these little molecules, now every molecule has a polarity, a north-south polarity, which means what? Which means energy flows in that direction within a molecule. Now within this magnet, all these tiny little molecules, they're all aligned. And because they're all aligned, energy is flowing freely. And energy is flowing unidirectionally. And when energy flows freely and unidirectionally, as I said, anytime energy moves and flows, a magnetic field is created. So this magnet is only because of the alignment of the molecules. Come to the iron. In the iron, all the molecules are misaligned. So individually the molecules have magnetism, but one's going in this direction and the other's going in that direction. One's going up, one's going down. And what's happening in that process is that the inherent magnetism that could have existed is getting cancelled out. If each of these molecules were to align, instantly this too would become a magnet. And that's what happens when you bring a magnet in and it gets attracted, is because the energy of this magnet forces the molecules in the piece of iron to also align temporarily. If I separate them, boom, they fall back into their original place. Isn't that just, again, start thinking about how beautiful this universe is, how everything follows clear, precise laws. And our Guru Paramahansa Yogananda would say, all physical laws are based originally on spiritual laws. And so we need to understand what's the spiritual law of magnetism. And as we said in the beginning, in the very topic, the key to manifestation. It is responsible for manifestation to adhere, to come about. If there was no magnetism, everything would just crumble. There would just be individual little blocks. What holds these blocks together is magnetism. What's holding our life together is magnetism. What's holding our relationships together, what's holding our karma together is magnetism. Karma is magnetic. What goes out, the very quality of the energy that goes out, creates a magnetic field that draws back towards it the same kind of magnetism. So coming back to this magnet and this iron, because right now the majority of us are like this piece of iron. How? What are our molecules? Now, I don't mean our physical molecules. Our molecules are our thoughts, our actions, our words. It is what we are made of, what our personality is made of, what our ego expression is in this lifetime. Everything we're putting out is magnetic. But the problem is, everything we're putting out tends not to be fully in alignment. Now, how so? One thought of mine says, I want to be very healthy. But then my actions don't actually, I'm eating whatever I want, I'm doing this. One thought says, I want to have a very deep spiritual life. But another thought says, but I don't want to get up too early and I don't want to sit this long and so on and so forth. So you see, one thought says, I want to be a millionaire, and another thought says, but I don't want to miss my Netflix shows at all. So we've just got these cross currents of thoughts, each cancelling the other out. And this flow, the yogis say, happens in our spine. Our spine is like that bar magnet with the North Pole right here up top and the South Pole at the very base. And in between are the chakras, And in the chakras are what we call vrittis, the samskars, the karmic patterns that we've created, constantly being fed, constantly being readjusted based on how we're living right now. And they all have different forms of magnetic pulls. One is a pull upward that says, I want to experience bliss. Another pull is downward that says, but I don't want to let go of the precious things that I have. One says, I want freedom, and the other says, yeah, but I only want it under these circumstances. One says, I want to love everyone, and then the other says, but I don't want to love this person, this person, this person, this person. So you see how there is no clear flow of energy. Our molecules don't have the alignment so that all that energy is flowing unidirectionally, and that's a key element of magnetism. Now what's happening is, after all the crisscross currents are being negated, what remains is our current state of magnetism. So if I look at my life right now and I say the kind of people I have, the kind of problems I have, the kind of wonderful things that I have, the reality of my life right now is a picture of the magnetic makeup of my spiritual spine. And it's helpful to see that, because then and only then do you realize, wait a minute, I don't want this. Everything that I have created is not accidental. It's a direct result of my own magnetism that I've been building consciously, subconsciously, but it's been happening. Now I want to change that. Now I want to shift this I want to manifest something entirely new, something conscious that I truly want. And how do we take this piece of unmagnetized iron and transform it into a magnet? That's the question. All right, magnetism may exist, but how do I change my magnetism? Now, coming back to the simple experiment, if you remember perhaps your elementary science days, we had this as an experiment, make this piece of bar iron into a magnet. And there were two ways to do that. One way was to wrap a copper wire around this piece of iron and run an electric current through it. And the electric current would realign all those molecules so that while that electric current was running, this is now a magnet. This now has magnetic properties. Now coming back to our bar magnet or our potential bar magnet, we need to be running an electric current through it. And what is the practice of meditation? Meditation is the withdrawing of our life force, withdrawing of our electricity into the spine, and then consciously, dynamically, powerfully lifting all that electric current, that life force, that prana up the spine to the point between the eyebrows, to the positive pole. What does that do? It takes that scattered energy that is constantly contradicting and cancelling out our magnetism, which is the aura that we have. That's what it is. The aura is the magnetic field. And it takes all that energy and moves it unidirectionally, and every little molecule, boom, 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 starts to get aligned in that moment. That is why when we sit to meditate, we experience joy. We experience peace. This is not just an experience happening because I'm sitting still. It's an experience that we are attracting. Paramahansa Yogananda said, eventually self-realization is an attracting of that superconscious experience. It is not that we're lifting up into it as much as we become so magnetic that the universe cannot but respond to that power flowing through us. And we experience a little tiny bit of it in our meditation. If a little energy starts to move up, that little trickle of life force moving up already brings about enough alignment. That's when we feel at peace. We feel at rest with ourselves. That's when we're not feeling agitated anymore. We're not feeling drawn in 600 different directions. But what happens the moment we step out of our meditation? That experience lasts for a couple of minutes, maybe even a little longer, half an hour, an hour. But you see how suddenly then somebody says something happens, and that's it, we've lost it. We're back to reacting, back to getting a little upset, back to thinking negatively about people, back to wondering why we're not getting what we deserve, so on and so forth. The joy, that peace, that stillness, that inspiration that the meditation brought, gone for a moment. Why? Just like that piece of iron, while the electricity is flowing through it, it's magnetic. Shut that electricity off and the magnetism dies down. However, the more electricity I pass through it, if I pass a stronger current and a stronger current and a stronger current, I get to a point where I can permanently magnetize. And that's why we need to meditate every day. That's why we need to meditate with more intensity every day, flushing the spine with that electric current, aligning all our karma, aligning the vrittis in the chakras, until the point comes where the spine is so magnetized, it doesn't matter whether you're meditating, whether you're not, you are that magnetic field. You are that peace, that joy. It has become you because it becomes a permanently attracted state of being. It integrates with our consciousness because that energy is continuously flowing through us. And that's what we as meditators want to aspire to. That's why it's so important to meditate every day and not worry, oh, this meditation I didn't feel this, or some of my meditations are restless. It doesn't matter, because you have to keep that electricity going. And the other part of it is, when we're not meditating, we should still try to keep our focus at the spiritual eye as much as we want or are able to, because that's being magnetized, and then this starts to draw the energy up the spine. And then throughout the day, you stay magnetic, you stay joyful, you stay uplifted, you stay in that flow where every part of your being is in alignment with what you truly want, which is happiness, fulfillment, freedom from our own limitations. And then things and circumstances and people, they only become expressions of that freedom and joy. And that's how we want to live our lives, with that electric current in our meditations, stronger and stronger until we become permanently magnetized. But it's also important for us to realize then, on the external aspects of our lives, to keep our thoughts in alignment. Don't throw around random thoughts thinking they don't matter. Don't say I want this and then 6 seconds later say something that completely contradicts that, or put out energy that contradicts that, or act in a way that contradicts that. Start looking at your life as, wow, my magnetism is my communication with the universe. It's not only what I say, what I show. The universe is reading my energy flow. And my energy flow is constantly changing depending on my thoughts, my words, and my actions. But it's so subtle, I'm not even aware of it. And it's constantly flowing in a scattered manner. I need to learn how to keep bringing it all back. That's why for the yogis we say, live in your center, live in the spine, keep a straight spine at least, if nothing else, so that the energy has the potential to rise and flow. A bent spine, Yogananda said, is the enemy of self-realization, the enemy of self-transformation, the enemy of self-perfection. And that is what we yearn for, the perfection of our own consciousness. So look to your life now, look to the universe, look to everything around you, look to your meditations and realize I'm communicating with the universe every moment. The universe is responding and manifesting my life in accordance to what it assumes or what it sees my energy to be. But it's not what I necessarily consciously would want the universe to be manifesting, would want the universe to be bestowing upon me or taking away from me that which no longer serves my higher purpose. And this is the magnetic power that each one of us possess. In a universe made of energy, our energy is the currency of change, of transformation, of manifestation. There are many other things that can be said about magnetism, but this is a central truth. And this is something that's in your hands daily. Every day you can put this truth into practice. And within a very short time, you will start to see the extraordinary results. But not by passive meditation, dynamic meditation, powerful meditation, fully aware that the universe is listening, responding, bestowing. And then everything else is our choice. I hope that helps you, and I hope that allows you to bring with a little bit more awareness that shift that each of us need to make in our lives, in our thoughts, in our words and actions, that we be in alignment, a singular force for the universe to reckon with. God bless you all.